It has been a long time coming for this podcast to finally see the light of day. I am mostly to blame for the tardiness of this episode, but I would also like to blame the system because I've been so bombarded with my winter intensive camp schedule. I barely really have time to breathe and to eat, and the rest is spent editing something, which I will tell you later, as well as prepping classes when I come home at like 11:30. So I am finally pushing this out. And let me tell you, it's going to be 28 days worth of laughters and tears. So grab a snack, walk your dog, brew your coffee. Let's go ahead and dive in. As I mentioned in the last podcast, I had this opportunity to finally go home to the States after being in Korea for about 2 years. If we want to get really exact with it, I think it was 741 days being abroad. And my trip lasted for almost a month. It was about 28 days, 4 weeks in total. And the irony of it was that I land the day after Thanksgiving and I have to fly out the day before Christmas Eve. So I missed 2 holidays in one trip. But hey, that's better than not going home at all. Am I right? It's about the small victories. A win is a win. So I flew out November 25th. It was on a Friday. And the thing is, I had classes the night before until 10 p.m. So when I got home, it was about it was about 11:30. And I basically just came home, showered, finalized my luggages, my checked, and as well as my carry-on. And I also had like a messenger bag, whatever, with me. So I put like all my electronics in there. I put my laptop in there, cameras, film cameras. I brought so many cameras with me. It's insane. I really want to declutter, but I have this habit of, again, I'm a hoarder and I feel like I need all those equipments, especially to go on a trip of this significance. Like I want to be able to capture all the moments with, I guess, as many format as possible. So I have my film camera, my digital camera, my Polaroid camera, and all the chargers and accessories that I need for them, like the stands and the tripods. And I was hauling ass. So I have everything packed, and my flight was at 6 p.m. But being an Asian, that means, you know what? I need to be there at 2 p.m. So I think we actually were a little bit behind on schedule, but we did get there fairly early, and I was kind of sleepy. I was kind of tired, so I was reading on my Kindle, and I got some food. Did I get some food there? I don't remember. I think maybe. Oh, we went to the airport and we ate there, and then we said our goodbyes, and then I waited for my plane, and luckily I only had one connecting flight, so I flew all the way to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco to San Antonio, right? And I specifically picked that one because I don't want to have so many different stops given the weather condition. I don't want to lose my luggage. I've heard so many stories about, luggages being lost at airports, and I was like, this is a risk that I don't want to risk. This is a risk that I don't want to risk. Can you tell I haven't been doing podcasts in a long time? This is a risk that I didn't want to take because 80% of my checked luggage were presents from my parents, my family, as well as my sibling. So if I lost it, I'm like, well, I think that's more important than my clothes. So I didn't want to lose it, and I didn't want to pay for AirTag. Also, I don't know why Find My does not work in Korea. So if I lose my phone, I can't even pinpoint where it is on the map. I guess, is it because Find My only works in the US? What's going on? Am I not enabling whatever options I'm supposed to enable? Let me know if you also ran into this problem and were able to find some kind of solution. So, anyways, I picked that flight, I boarded the flight. It was relatively painless, except the layover, I had like a 6 hour layover. So I arrived in San Francisco at the butt crack of dawn at like 6 a.m. And then I was flying out at around 6 p.m. Wait, the math is not mathing. Anyways, I had a really long layover. Or was it a 12-hour layover? I don't remember anymore. But it was really long and I flew out in the afternoon and I arrived home in San Antonio because of time differences at like 12 at night. So I went home, was pretty tired, went to sleep, and the thing I do on overseas trips is that I try to sleep on the flight. So when I arrive, I try to readjust my schedule so that I don't sleep when I feel tired so I don't have any jet lag. But that did not work out well at all, and I'll tell you about it later on. But I went there, and then my first night, whenever I go abroad to like go visit families in China, or I go to Korea, or I go back to the States, my mom always asks me, "Oh, do you feel like so familiar, so comfortable, blah, blah, blah." I told her, well, I don't feel any different. It feels like as if I was playing a game and I had two different saved files. When I come here to Asia, it's like I load this file. So everything else here feels familiar. And then when I go home, it's like I saved the files, the Asian file, the Asia file, and then I fly back to America and I load the same file and everything feels the same. It felt like as if I just clicked pause in my life and then I diverge into a different path. And now that I'm back in Texas, I am resuming my life there. It didn't feel like I actually worked in Korea for 2 years. It didn't feel like I stopped doing anything in the States at all. It was weird. It was like I was waking up from a very long dream that none of the things that I did there were true or real. So I didn't have a hard time adjusting. I didn't really have any like culture shock. Oh, the first reverse culture shock I had was at the airport. So we're going through customs, immigrations, whatever, and we're lining up. And I'm just feeling like, other than everyone's fashion, and I'm like, something's wrong. I can't exactly pinpoint what it was. And then I see it. I was the only one in line that was wearing a mask. So at home, you no longer need to you are not required to wear a mask anymore. And then here in Korea, we still have to wear masks indoor, and then outdoor, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. But I'm just wearing it because I don't want to get sick, and that means I would have to quarantine when I come back to Korea, and that would jeopardize my schedules and my work, etc., etc. So I was just like wearing mask at all time, and I'm like, should I take this off? Like I feel kind of weird that I'm the only person in this long line that's wearing a mask. But I was like, I cannot jeopardize this. I cannot put my work on the line, my vacation on the line. So I kept it on. That was the very first and probably the only reverse culture shock I had after I came back to the States. Yeah. Okay. So let me go ahead and tell you what I did for all 28 days of my vacation, starting with day one. Whew. So day one was a Saturday. It seems like I went to T-Mobile to update my phone. So before I arrived, I actually pre-ordered my phone. And then I had them shipped it to my home in the States because, one, I'm so tired of the shutter sound that we had. So I had to purchase a phone in Korea because my iPhone XS, the screen cracked or was damaged and I couldn't use it anymore, but I needed a phone. So I bought a used 12 mini here. The thing is, the shutter It sounds like a very minute thing, but it really bothers me because I can no longer take pictures in public. It feels very it feels very obnoxious because it would be like no matter what mode I'm in. Some of you might think, well, just switch it to like silence mode. No, 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 no. That thing is on at all time because it was a government regulation to minimize upskirt photos. That's why it's on. So because of that, I sort of stopped taking photos altogether. And I kind of want to get back to taking photos with my phone again. So coupled with the fact that our family recently switched over to a different carrier, so we had some sort of deal, I guess. So I pre-ordered the new phone, and I was gonna pick it up and get my eSIM. And the problem is that in the States, the US model lacked a SIM card tray because in the US they're starting to use eSIMs. However, in Korea it wasn't that popular yet. So I had this giant fear that what if I purchase this phone in the States, I bring it back here and the eSIM doesn't work? Then that means I have to buy another phone because it again wouldn't work here in Korea, and I'm going to be here for at least like 2-3 years. And I mean I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but at least 2-3 years. So that means I wasted my money. So I went to T-Mobile, talked to them and asked them, and I also did research on my own on YouTube, trying to see if anyone else attempted to do the same thing. And luckily I found 2 other YouTubers that had the exact same situation. Like they bought the phone in the US and they came back to Korea and it was like, crap, doesn't work, can't use it. And then they had some solutions that I need to do, and I need to talk to like my carrier here in Korea, but those were the things that I couldn't do until I came back here with my phone. So I was just hoping and praying that my phone would work in Korea. So I went to T-Mobile, got my SIM card, and I also had my old phones with me. So I brought my 12 mini as well as my broken 10s with me to trade in at Apple. But we didn't end up having enough time to do it on Saturday because we also went to an outlet mall to do some shopping. Because I arrived the day after Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday. So there were a lot of deals going on, and my mom was doing some shopping anyways. So I decided to tag along. So we went to some stores, and we also got some groceries for our Thanksgiving 2.0 dinner. Because they already had their Thanksgiving dinner, but since I was arriving a day later, they had a 2.0 version of whatever happened the day before. So I got some presents for Taro's family, and then also hit up some stores that I wanted to visit. So in the States, North Faces are not cheap. I mean, they're like the Lululemons of outdoor apparel, but it's much cheaper than in Korea. And North Face is not as useful in Texas as it is in Korea because Korea is so cold. When I came back here, the lowest was like negative 10 Celsius. What's negative 10 Celsius in Fahrenheit? Hold on, let me ask Siri. Hey Siri, how cold is negative 10 Celsius in Fahrenheit? Ma'am? Siri? Ma'am? Siri? Ma'am? 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Jeez, that is quite cold. And the thing is, when I went to San Antonio that week, for whatever reason, we had a cold front, and it was we were in the 20s or 30s or 50s. I don't remember. It was super cold, and I was like, "What's going on? Did I bring winter here into Texas, all the way from Korea?" So Saturday we ate, and then we did a little bit of light shopping. We got my phone, we got the eSIM, and as for Thanksgiving dinner, we had turkey legs. Oh, my dad was trying this new like marinade that he invented himself, and he was really happy about that. turkey legs, buttered corn, which he also made from scratch, tamales, and dinner rolls, hash brown. Oh, Mediterranean salad. I don't know what he's going through, but dude was really obsessed with Mediterranean salad. I opened the fridge. I remember opening the fridge and then seeing everything just very similar to the way it was 2 years ago. It gave me deja vu. And then I was looking at these 4 big old bags of Mediterranean salad from HEB. I'm like, who's who whose are those? And then I was expecting to say, oh, that was mama's, or oh, that was so and so's. Turned out it's for my dad. I was like, what? He's eating salad? He is the most meat consuming person I've ever met in my entire life. So it was a cute contrast. On day 2, Sunday, we finally went to the Apple store. We went to like a shopping area called La Cantera, and we went to trade in my phone. So my 12 mini was in good condition, and I got $250. And I was really expecting them to give me nothing for my 10S, but I guess only a portion of the screen was compromised. So you could still see maybe like 80% of the screen, except the portion that was compromised was like where the back buttons would be, so I wouldn't be able to access a lot of important sections of my screen. But they gave me $55 for it, and then in the end, they gave me like a gift card. So I used that gift card to buy like a new 5 terabyte hard drive, and as well as the leather wallet. I really wanted the wallet, but there was no way that I was going to pay $60 for it. So I was like, I looked at everything that they had at the Apple store. I can't use that gift card here in Korea, so might as well use it to its full capacity. So I decided to get the wallet. So I got the wallet, got the hard drive, I got another like charging block, and that was it. And I spent my gift card at Apple Store. Then we went to Zara, and I found these parachute pants. I've always wanted like a black parachute pants, but I haven't found one that was like good quality or the style that I wanted. But I just, for giggles, I went to Zara because I was looking at the perfume. And they had this one pair of parachute pants. It was a little bit pricey, but I just fell in love with it. And I wore it almost every single day when I was in Texas. It was so ridiculous. So I got some pants there. And then I bought some presents for my mom, some makeup that she saw at Sephora. And then we went to Starbucks. How ironic. I went back to Starbucks, not getting any latte. Oh, no, not getting my usual order, which is what I would like to call the drug. I always get iced blonde hazelnut latte. And it was the order that I perfected while I part-timed at Starbucks. I was getting soy chai latte almost every single time because we don't have chai here. I don't know why. We don't have chai, and I can't find any chai tea bags at all. So when I went to Starbucks, I was like, you know what? Let me just get a soy chai. And that hit the spot. That night, we had we had some snow crab legs with broccolis and rice. I don't even remember that, but I guess we did. I think they saved it until I came home so we can enjoy it together. Aw, thanks, Mom. Oh, and also that morning, we found a dead red fox. So it was so strange. Our neighbors were repairing their fences, and then they ring our doorbell. They're like, hey, don't know if you know this, but there's a dead red fox next to your doghouse. First of all, I didn't know we had a doghouse. Secondly, because we don't have dog. Secondly, it was just so uncalled for. What, a dead red fox? So we all went out to see it. And I was wondering, like, why was it there? Did it run into the wall at night on accident? Or did they, kind of went there to end their life? but we never figured out. And then we were too busy calling like homeowners associations or AAA to figure out how to get rid of it, because you have to dispose it properly since it's a diseased animal. And then later on, when I was FaceTiming my close friends, they were telling me, oh, like dead red fox signifies something. What did this signify? I like wrote it down. Hold on. When did we have that little Skype session? I think Skype session happened in the last few weeks. It was like the red fox signified overcoming something. And when they told me that, I was like, huh? That is so fitting, because this entire trip, the whole purpose of this entire trip was kind of revolving around that. Oh, there we go. Finding a dead red fox. It was supposed to represent triumph over struggle. Which I was like, what? I almost completely forgot about the whole thing until we were talking about it. Like, until I was looking at my planner and telling them exactly what I did each day. So that was day 2, only day 2. Day 3 was a Monday, and I finally went to the grocery store. One thing I had on my bucket list was that I wanted to visit grocery store like H-E-B, which is regional specific, and Trader Joe's, Costco, and I wanted to try a lot of the fast foods that we had, like Whataburger, which I didn't try, Chipotle, Freddy's, and what else? I don't even remember anymore. I'll tell you about it as I go. So I went to H-E-B, and the main reason why I wanted to go to H-E-B, because one, fruits. Fruits are so expensive here, so I was determined to go home and eat as much and as many different types of fruit as possible. And the second I walked in, immediately on my right was the produce section. And you can see like berries on sale. They had blueberries for 97 cents a box. It wasn't a big box, but still, it was a box. That would have cost $5 or $6 or $8 here in Korea. So I was taking pictures of produce. Like, I took pictures of the watermelon, I took pictures of strawberries, and my mom was like, what are you doing? Why are you taking pictures of watermelon and corn? I'm like, because, I never see this price in Korea, and I can't wait to show it to my coworkers and friends. So I was walking around, we bought fruits, and I bought chai. I bought like tea bag chai in Earl Grey. And then I went to the bank because I needed a new card. My card had expired. So I went there to renew my card, as well as deposit some money that I withdrew here in Korea, so that I have some money to spend. Then I went to PetSmart because I am a cat mom, and a cat mom would never pass the opportunity to go buy new treats for her cat, even though her cat does not love her back. So I got some new treats, and went home and I started to clean my room. There were some boxes in my room that I guess I put away, but I don't remember what was in it. And I really wanted to tidy up my room a little bit, since my luggage was just like on the floor. So while I was cleaning, I was really looking for my iPod Nano. When I was in middle school or high school, I really wanted the iPod Nano 6th gen. I think it was 6th gen. It was the one with a tiny camera in the back. And I remember I took it to Disneyland when we went for a family trip, and I filmed the trip on that tiny little thing. So recently, I guess Y2K is pretty popular these days, and then people are trying to record with old camcorders. So I thought, that thing is really, really slim and small, so that it would be super convenient if I wanted to bring it. One, for the nostalgic, two, just for the portability of it. So I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. I just couldn't find it at all in my room. I still have some more boxes in the attic, but I don't want to go to the attic. The attic is scary. I don't know any other sane person who would like to spend time in the attic, because that's where we put everything away, and it's cold and the lock doesn't work very well, so like I could very much get trapped in. and it's in like a secluded area in the house. I don't want to be alone, but no one else want to come with me. So I didn't go look for it. So hopefully, I'm hoping that it's still in the attic. So next time when I go back, I'll go check out the attic to see if I can find my iPod Nano. But instead, I found my Walkman. It's not really my Walkman. I remember it was like a friend's, but I don't remember if he gave it to me or I just held on to it. Like, I really don't remember if I took it or if I held on to it without permission. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I don't know why I still have this. I don't remember what happened, but I opened it and it had all my old songs, like old K-pop song, like Girls' Generation, EXO, EXO-M, EXO-K, when they were still like separated. I was like, what? So I listened. I found my 35 millimeter jack headphone, plugged it in, put it in my pocket, and I listened to those old songs while I was cleaning my room. And I was like stuck in this weird time space. It's like I was a teenager again, and then I'm cleaning out all these old memories of high school and college. It felt weird. It felt like I was time traveling. Then I also found my mom's old Canon point and shoot. And then I started recording using her camera as well. And I end up really liking the portability. It's so small. It's like smaller than it's about the same size as the Apple Letter wallet or any MagSafe wallet. So I took it everywhere. I took it everywhere. Because my digital camera, I use a Sony A7C. It's really heavy. She's a beast. And the lens is also really, really thick. So it's usually really heavy. But with the Canon, I could just put it in my pockets. It's even smaller than my phone. So I started recording a lot of my dailies with that camera. And it's so old that when I point to any bright light source, it gives me this pink streak across the screen. So it's like a very interesting, I guess, aesthetic, interesting style. That day, what else did I do? Okay, my dad decided to cook, so he made his tacos. And I made my own chai. I guess I looked up some YouTube videos and made my own chai latte. Did it taste like Starbucks? No. But was it decent enough? Yes, and I'm forever grateful. On day 4, it was a Tuesday, we finally went to Costco, and the whole purpose of going to Costco was to go to the food court. We went to the food court. I think my mom and I shared one hot dog and a slice of pepperoni pizza. I'm so sad that they don't have the Supreme anymore, but I heard it was because of COVID. So that's understandable. And then I think I got like a coffee slush. Was it a slush? And then my mom got ice cream. Was it ice cream or frozen yogurt? Maybe it was one of those. And then also, I got everything bagel. I am a sucker for everything bagel. It's my favorite bagel in the world, and I don't see a lot of everything bagels here. So I went home and I just ate everything bagel for like 3 weeks straight. So we secured the bagel. I found a Sudoku book that I had in my room, and I started doing Sudoku on my off times. And then I took a night walk with my sibling, Rosaius, and then I recorded our conversation. Like I tried to do like a ask me anything. Yeah, ask me anything. However, somebody would only give me answers like, I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know. So I really had to carry the conversation, but it was a really good time. We were walking in the evening until the sun went down, and then we had kind of like some heart-to-heart moments. And then if you're curious about what we talked about, you can go back to the previous podcast that I recorded with my phone. So the reason why it sounded different was because I recorded it with my phone. Then that night, after we came back from the night walk, I added some new music to the Walkman. I guess I updated my library, and I only kept the songs that I would listen to and not get tired of. So I got some Mamamoo songs in there, some New Jeans songs on there as well. And then I made chai for Rosea's. Did I? Yes, I did. I did. I did? I did. And I asked, how was it? And he said, yeah, it's good. And throughout my stay, whenever I was making a cup, I would make another cup as well. On day 5, it is Wednesday. Wednesday, I had to pick up the little one at 5 p.m. And then we went to Target. I went to Target to get like gift wraps and gift bags for someone that I was visiting that weekend. So I bought my card. I bought a roll. Was it one roll or 2 rolls of Instax film for the Polaroid camera? And then I did my laundry and I packed for my weekend trip. Yeah. And then that night, I also made dinner for Rosea's. I made pasta. Oh my god, that pasta was so dank. The thing is, when I'm here in Korea, I'm not a great cook, but I'm trying to expand whatever I can. And one thing that I cook a lot is pasta, and I cook different variations of it. And that day, I was left with the task of cooking dinner because my mom was busy and she was training for competition season, whatever, XYZ. So I looked at the fridge and I'm like, I can't work with any of this. So I ended up buying groceries myself. I got these thick cut bacon, and then we had some pasta at home. And I got something else, I forgot. I think parsley or basil and minced garlic, and what else did I need? A sauce, Alfredo sauce. And I made Alfredo pasta for Rosea's, and 5 stars, apparently 5 stars. So much so, I told my mom, I was like, hey, I made some pasta, do you want to try it? But she came home really late that day, and she was like, no, it's too late. I don't think I can eat. How about like lunch tomorrow? So I was like, all right, I'll make you lunch tomorrow. And I think on that day, the Spotify 2022 Wrapped list came out too, and I was listening to my top songs of the year. Day 6 was on a Thursday. It was my mom's day off. She requested to spend the day with me. We were supposed to go to Costco to buy vitamins, but we didn't. I did make her lunch, the Alfredo bacon. Oh, mushrooms. I got mushrooms as well. And she said it was dank. I was so proud. I'm like, yes, finally I can make something that I'm confident with. Then I met Rosea's friend, and then we had like a quick dinner. Then that day I went back to Zara because remember, my original purpose to go to Zara was for the perfume, but I didn't buy perfume that day, and instead I bought parachute pants. So I went back to Zara to buy the perfume. And then I went to DSW to return. I returned a pair of Doc Martens that I impulsively purchased when I was there. When was I there? Why didn't I write it down? Anyways, yeah. And then and I asked my friend who I was visiting for an itinerary. So I was going to spend the weekend at my friend's in South Texas. I wanted to see her because 1, she is my best friend. 2, she has a big test coming up. So I wanted to recharge her with her. I wanted to, no matter what, if I wasn't going to see anyone this trip, I was going to make the time to go see her. And then luckily enough, she was able to kind of dish out 2 days, like a whole weekend for me, because she has been studying like in the morning. As soon as she opens her eyes, she would study, break, and then like work. So she has been hella busy. And I was trying to ask her, what are we going to do on Saturday? What are we going to do on Sunday? So I know what to pack. So I started packing. Next day, day 7 was Friday. Friday, I left on Friday? Okay, I guess I did a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I got to spend 3 days with her? Girl, yes. So she is 3 hours away from me. And to maximize the trip, I thought about it. I was like, usually she probably wakes up at 9. So that means I should leave at 6 a.m. so that when I get to her place, it's at 9. I know it sounds insane, but my body was very honest. I was so excited to see her. I woke up before my alarm. So I think I woke up around like 5:30 or whatever. So I shot up from my bed, got ready really quickly, went to Starbucks to get soy chai, and then I commenced my drive all the way to South Texas. And it was so funny because I was early. And when I was looking for her apartment, she didn't give me her apartment number. So I was looking for like which one would be hers. I was looking for her car because I remember her car. So I'm like looking and looking, and I see this tiny Asian just cleaning out her car. And then like I slowly crept around the corner. I was like, I think that's her car. And then we made eye contact. She looked up and we made eye contact. And she was kind of like, why are you here this early? I was like, because I'm excited to see you. So she was cleaning out her car because we were going to go to the beach, not on Friday, but on Saturday. So she got ready. I said hi to her dog. I said hi to Marley. I played with Marley. And then we went to get food. We went to get some pho. And at the pho place, there were 2 sizes. There's like the regular and the super. The super, not like SUPER, but like SOUPER, the super, right? I'm looking at it and I go, I have not had any Texas portion food in a long time, so maybe I shouldn't go for the super. So let me just go for the regular. And the regular was easily a large here in Korea. So we're eating, we're talking, we're catching up. Then we stopped at different Asian stores that she had in her town to get the ingredients to make kimbap. So we were thinking about bringing some food to the beach, and of course we had to get booze. And I'm like, do we have to get booze? They're like, yeah, we have to get booze. So we couldn't bring anything that was glass, so we had to look at the cans, right? So we go to the liquor section. I'm like, I don't know any of these. And then she's like, do you want to try White Claw? I'm like, I've never had a White Claw. I don't know how it tastes like. But I saw this packaging for like lemonade. And apparently, I guess it's spiked lemonade. So I was like, this seems very beginner friendly. So let me grab that instead. And the can is the size of like Arizona tea. So it's like a 1-liter tea, spiked tea. I'm like, I'll take this. And she's like, okay, I'm going to grab a 6-pack of, was it a 6-pack or is it more? Was it a 12-pack of White Claw? So we got the booze, we got the food from Asian store, and then, as well as HEB. I asked, before my trip, I asked her, I was like, hey, what can I get for Marley? Like, what's her favorite treats? Or is there anything else I can get? She goes, Marley eats everything. I'm like, that's not very precise. And then somewhere along the line of, you could just get her like a rotisserie chicken. And I was like, yes, I can do that. But I didn't want to get it before I came here because then it wouldn't be fresh, right? Marley deserves fresh, hot rotisserie chicken, deboned for her. So we stopped at HEB, and then when we went back to her place, she was prepping for the kimbap stuff because, of course, she's more responsible and she can actually cook, unlike me. Meanwhile, we had like Netflix on. Was it Netflix on? Oh yeah. And then for the very first time in my life, I was watching the British Bake Off, baking show. The Great British Bake Off. Probably. You probably know. But I was like fixated on that while deboning chicken for Marley. So I deboned the entire rotisserie chicken for Marley and I fed her piece by piece so she wouldn't, you know, chomp down everything so she could eat slow. And then after she was done prepping all the ingredients for kimbap, we sat like side by side on the sofa and then we were like actually making it. And then meanwhile, I recommended Heartstopper for her. And we actually finished the entire season that night. Like, in the beginning, it was just like, I finished a Bake Off. What else can I watch? Oh, you should watch Heartstopper. Okay, let's watch one episode of it. And then many, many episodes later, we finished the entire season. And I was like, I told you it was good. And I cried again. But at this time, it was really late. And we had to go to sleep because next day we need to drive. It was like an hour and a half drive to the beach, to Sal Padre. So we changed and then we got to bed. And I, being the head ass that I am, I'm like, oh yeah, you have Google Home. Google Home or Google Nest? Google Nest. And I go, hey Google, sing me a lullaby. And Google's like, okay, playing lullaby, blah, blah, blah. And then it started playing, right? It was very soothing. And I was anticipating for it to stop after the first round. But it didn't. It kept going for like 5 minutes and it was really loud. So in my mind, I was just laying there and I was thinking, I made a mistake. How do I make it stop? So I was like, hey Google, stop. But it didn't. And then I think my friend had to do it again. I was like, hey Google, stop. And then finally stopped. So the next day we woke up a little bit late, behind schedule, of course, because we went to bed late. But we got up, we packed our things, we changed, and then we started our drive to Sal Padre Beach. I think we also stopped at a gas station to get gas. But my friend also got me a taco. Gas station tacos are so dank. Oh my gosh, it was like the best I've had. And she also got me orange juice because I kept, this is my confession. Like saying, I don't really love orange juice that much, but I always say it. So when we were getting booze, I'm like, can we get like orange juice? Can we just get orange juice? But we had to get booze. And then that day when we were at the gas station, she got me a taco and she got me orange juice. I was like, you got me orange juice? She's like, yeah, because you kept asking for it. So we had that, and then we drove to the beach. She had this like one-touch tent. Although it wasn't really one touch, we still had to work for it. But she had a tent set up and the beach chair and the cooler, and we were sitting there and just having a moment, just enjoying the beach. And it was so bizarre because at the beach, the weather was so abnormal. It was very foggy and misty, so it felt like I was in a dream. I couldn't see past, I guess, 100 yard. I couldn't see past 100 yard, and it was chilly. So I had a jacket, luckily, and I didn't even get to take off my jacket because it was so cold. So I sat there, and then I took some Polaroid pictures of her and Marley, and then I decided to, because I'm a head ass, spell out Marley's name with my body. So I propped up my phone on the side and I had Marley in the view and I was just like jumping and then making all the letters for Marley. And then I was like, wait a second, why don't we do that for our name? So the combination for our name was Shazan, like Shixan, Shazan. So we were recording and like trying to figure out how to spell out our name. And then finally, after we did, we had to screenshot each letter and a new Apple function at the time is that you can extract objects from the background. So we extracted the letters that would make up our names and sent it as a sticker. That was fun. So we spent a long time doing that, and then we got tired. So we sat on the chair and I was journaling and she was reading. She is a avid reader. She read so many books and I'm still caught up on like 2 unfinished books that I have. And I was like, you motivate me to do many things, and reading is going to be one of them in 2023. So we went to the beach, and then was that not beach day? Yes, it was beach day. We I posted like a weekly recap. So instead of posting, I guess, photos and stories every single day, I decided that I would do that at the end of a week so that I could really focus on the moments and connect with the people that I'm with while I was back home. So I posted like a weekly recap of week 1, and then that night when my friend was walking her dog, we did like a 73 questions with Vogue, but I asked her the same questions, and it was like a short iPhone podcast interview, whatever, that I wanted to do. It was on my mind for a while, and I knew that it wasn't going to sound that great because I'm using my phone. It's going to pick up a lot of voice, but I feel like I wanted to capture that moment and just have it with me when I'm not back home, and I could still listen to our conversations like that. And that night, her parents found out that I was coming back, so they actually invited us to have barbecue at their place. So we went, and my best friend is Filipino, so it goes without saying that they will have a karaoke machine as well as a professional mic stand in their living room. So we had some, I think, were they ribs? They were so good. The thing is, my parents likes dry ribs, and I cannot do it. And then my best friend's parents' ribs, they were juicy. It was glazed. It was flavorful. So I told him, I was like, Mr. Beep, I really like your ribs. Like, I like it more than my parents, but please don't tell them. Like, how did you make this? So I asked him, how did you make it so tender? And then after that, I think we sang for like an hour or so. And then I met all her cats. They have a lot of cats, and I met them all. And then I took a Polaroid of one of her cat named Chowder. So before my cat Uni, my very first cat was Milk Tea. And I had him when I was in college, but only for a very short time because he passed away. So her cat, Chowder, looks like the exact same version of Milk Tea, but probably when he was like 6 years younger. So I asked her, can I take a Polaroid of Chowder and bring it with me? She's like, yeah. And I made my rookie mistake is 1, being way too close, 2, having the flash on. So I took the picture of, I have it right here with me. I took the picture of Chowder, and he just looks like a white blob from the flash because he was chilling under the Christmas tree, and he looks so, so cute. But that was my mistake, and that concluded Saturday, which was day 8. And then on Sunday, day 9, it was the last day that it was the last day that I was going to spend with her. And we had an appointment to go pet alpacas at 10 a.m. So we came home really late, but then we were committed because we paid. Well, she paid for us to go see alpacas. So we got up at like 9:30. Was it 9:30? 9. I got up at 9, and then we left at 9:30 to go feed alpacas. And at the place, because we were in South Texas, the owner didn't really speak English, but my friend spoke some Spanish, so she was our liaison. And then we got some food to feed the alpacas, and then we got some picture times. And the thing is, like, you're not supposed to pet alpacas on the head because it will spit at you. And I did not touch them on the head, really, honest to God. I had the food in my hand and I was feeding them. And I think because it was a cup, it was a pretty deep cup. Because they just dived head in into the cup, they probably got some pellets stuck in their nostrils. So they were like this, except to my face. And I was wearing white. So they were spitting at me. And then my friend was like, "What are you doing to them?" I was like, "I'm doing nothing. I'm just feeding them." And they were like, to my face. So I was a little bit traumatized from that. But then we had a good photo time together. There was this, like, would it be brown or would it be caramel? I think it's brown, like a brown color alpaca that had a reindeer headband on, and then it was like on a leash. So we had to guide it to take photos. So I noticed that they would always go, So I kept talking to the alpacas, like, how are you doing today? Like, do you like this rainy weather? And they go, So I kept messing around with the alpacas. And then it started, yeah, it was raining too. It was raining on that day, but luckily not too much. So after the alpaca appointment, we went to like a real Mexican diner. And then I had my last, how did I forget? What is it? On Friday? No, yeah, the first night when I went to see my friend, we went to this place that like did not speak English at all, but it was so authentic. And I had some tacos there. Oh my gosh, it was the best I've ever had in my entire life. What was it called? Rodeo? Was it? What was it? I don't remember anymore. But yeah, I had some dank tacos, and then on my last day on Sunday, I sort of had like a classic platter. I had enchiladas, soft tacos, and then like hard tacos, beans and rice and stuff like that. And it was so much food, I had to take it home. And of course, I had to order horchatas because let's be honest, that's one thing that I miss from Texas. So I ordered it and I had to have it to go. But at the moment, I should have said something. But at the moment, I realized the lid was kind of too small for the cup, so they kept coming undone. But I ignored it at the moment. So I went back to my friend's place, said goodbye, gave her a hug, even though she doesn't like physical contact. And then I started my drive back home. But I was getting a little sleepy. And I had to stop at a Starbucks halfway through to get like cold brew to wake up. But while I was driving away, while I was leaving her town, I started like tearing up. Like I started crying. And then while I was crying, I wanted to get a sip of horchatas. So I reached for the cup, but the cup busted. And like I had horchatas everywhere, and I'm like crying, and the horchatas busted on my floor mat, and I'm like, okay, I gotta pull over, I gotta clean this because it has milk and it's going to stink. So I pulled over, and then a police car passed me. They were probably like, what's going on? So I'm like wiping the floor mat and at the same time wiping my face, and then I told her about it later. I was like, I cannot believe that the cup busted while I was crying. It's just like, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, I think the cap was too small, so it just popped off and then it spilled. But that was my first weekend, and then I was so happy, but also sad at the same time because I haven't seen her in 2 years, and I probably won't be able to see her until, years later. And I missed her. I really do. Like, we connect, we talk on FaceTime a lot. Like, whenever I have any kind of issues or whenever I have to, let's be honest, whenever I have any tea that I want to tell her, we share our Google calendars with each other so we know what we are doing and when we can find time to have like a FaceTime session. but I haven't seen her face to face, like really be in the presence of each other. And I miss that because when we were together, we were in college, and it just reminded me of the good times that we shared together. So day 9 ended on a sad note, but day 10 comes around. It was a Monday. I went and returned my impulsive buy at DSW Shoes. I was having some trouble with my visa. Like they needed some additional documents, and I was trying to see where I could get it, and I had to try multiple ways. And one thing about Korea is because it's so secure, because everything is connected to your phone number, and your phone number is connected to the equivalent of your social security number. So remember how I got a new phone and it doesn't have a SIM card? Well, I still have my old SIM from Korea, but I needed some documents from the Korean website. However, I cannot access it without getting like a confirmation code on my Korean phone. So I had to ask my mom for like a spare phone that I could use so I could put my Korean SIM card in her phone and receive those text message so that I can access like tax documents from Korea. So I was doing that for yeah, that's what I did on Monday. I was really stressed about that. Then day 11 on Tuesday, again it was my mom's day off. She asked for a day off because we're going to meet like a family friend. So we went to Austin. Austin is where I studied and where my heart lies. So we went to Austin, and then we had like a seafood boil, kind of. And then we went to H Mart. We went to 99 Ranch. Actually, 99 Ranch, because why would I need to go to H Mart? H Mart is the entirety of Korea. So I went to H Mart, and then we got some stuff. We got some hot pot stuff because we wanted to have hot pot at home. We also got some candy, some snacks. Then I resubmitted my visa application that day. And I went to like a camera store to buy some films for my film camera. I bought 3 rolls. Ilford HP5, the black and white. Kodak Gold. Kodak Gold is like sold out everywhere. I haven't seen one in Korea for the past like 3 months. And they're so expensive here. So I was like, let me get 3 rolls of film while I'm here. And then the last one I got was the Ilford Pam 50. Yeah, it's one of my favorite, but it's hard for me to take good photos with it because the thing is so small. It's only 50. Oh, and then what else did I do? Oh, that day, the very same day that I had to purchase my camera. Usually I could use Apple Pay, right? So I don't really need to take out my card. But I did something stupid when I was with my friends in South Texas. We have this thing where we would fight to pay the bill. Maybe it's just an Asian thing. And one time, to stop her from paying, like I was like, let's do it. Okay, you paid last time, then this time I pay, right? So she flip-flops. So I took her insurance card. I took her insurance card to not as a threat, I guess as a threat, that I would take this and give it back to you after the trip, so that you don't try and pay everything all the time. So I found it in my wallet and I stared at it. I remember I was in the car with my mom and I was driving. Like I did most of the driving when I was back home because I feel like, it's tiring for my mom as it is to go to all these places with me. So I didn't want her to drive and take me to different places. So I was the driver for the most part. And miraculously, my muscle memory had my back. Like one time I was asked to drive to the Apple store and I didn't anticipate driving that day. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I haven't driven in 2 years, but luckily it was okay. Everything worked out fine. So yeah, I was in the car and then I pull out my wallet and I just stared at the card. And my mom was like, what is that? And I was like, that's Lexi's insurance card. And then she goes, why do you have that? And I explained the whole situation with her. And I was like, and I frantically texted my friend. I was like, hey, I did something bad. I'm so sorry. And I sent her a picture. She was like, God damn it. I was like, yeah, I really thought I would see it when I use my card, but I didn't see it. So I had it. But she was like, it's okay, I'm supposed to get a new one next month anyway, so you can keep it. So I was like, oh, you're giving this to me as a farewell present? Like someone's insurance card? She's like, shut up. So I still have it, not with me in Korea, but in my room in Texas. Yeah. So we went, what else did we do? We went to 99 Ranch, we got some hot pot stuff. What did I do? I opened up my Robinhood account to invest because like the family friend, he is very familiar with like finance stuff. So he was telling me about like the ETFs and the stuff that I need to buy that's beginner friendly. So I opened up an account and then I deposited some money in that account to start, I guess, my investing journey outside of Bitcoin. I still have Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies, but I've like kind of stopped it. I'm not adding any more money. They're just sitting there. They're dormant. Day 12 was a Wednesday. That day was Rosea's orchestra recital. So we went and then I watched it and we filmed it and I sort of kind of fell asleep like 5 minutes. But I was watching when Rosea was playing. And then we had hot pot at home. What else? Oh, I finished 1899 on Netflix. So 1899 is a new series produced by Dark Ways. And Dark Ways Production were the company that produced Dark, the trilogy. And if you haven't seen Dark, I highly, highly recommend you to watch it. It was so good. It was so good. I would live and die for that series. Then day 13 was a Thursday. On this day, oh my gosh, I lectured Rosea's for an hour. I was so pissed that day. What was it over? Oh, I think it was because of the laundry thing. Yeah, I think it was because of the laundry. So something happened and I had to lecture for an hour to get my point across. Then I went to the bank, deposited some money. I had Hot Pot round 2 with Rosea's while watching Arcane episode 2. Because we started watching Arcane before I left and we never really continued. So we were watching episode 2 and yeah, it was good. It was a good bonding moment, only us two. And then that was the day that all hell broke loose. My visa application was rejected and I couldn't figure out why. So I had to make like an international call to the immigration office asking for like why. Then I figured out the reason. So it turned out that when I submitted my application, I submitted a month before I left. It was received but not processed. So when I left the country, they started processing it in December. But I was already abroad in December. So they were processing everything, and then to the very last step, they go, oh, seems like you are already out of the country, so the application is automatically rejected. So this is on me. I didn't know that I couldn't do that, but also I wasn't informed by my company that this would happen. So luckily, my visa expires December 28th, and I go back on the 25th. So I have some time to apply before my deadline. But it was just, when I got the news, I didn't know how to process it. I mean, I knew that it meant my visa application was rejected, but I was afraid, like, what does that mean? What would it entail? What if I go back home and then my visa application is rejected again? What would I need to do then? You know? And then after I got the call, I called like twice and it costed me like $54. But I called twice and just to really make sure that I understand the situation. So she said, no, as soon as you submit it, the e-application before your deadline, you should be fine. If there are no big issues with your applications, then you would be granted a visa renewal. So the waiting part, I guess, was just the harder part because there's nothing else I could do until I land. So I kind of have to force myself to drop just to drop it. Then day 14 was a Friday. On that day, I had a Skype session with my close trio, and it lasted 4 hours and 49 minutes. Because we spent like 500 days apart, we actually met through KCON. Well, I've met one of them way before KCON, and then I actually met her and went to concert with her to Korea in 2017. But the other person I met through KCON, and then we have been close friends since. So we had a long Skype session to talk about and update everything. Then that day, I also had to go take passport photos because just in case, I felt like I didn't have any passport photos with me. So I went to UPS and I got 2 photos. Then that day, I asked my mom to teach me how to make egg dumplings. So my grandma is from, is that South China? South China? Or is it West? Or is that East? Anyways, I should know this, but I don't know. My grandma is from Hunan, and at the small town that she resides in, there's like a traditional food that you make. A traditional dish that you make for New Year's is called, in direct translation, it's called egg dumplings. Basically, you have minced pork, seasoned minced pork, and then you are going to wrap it with a thin layer of egg. So you will like fried egg, but it's like really, it's scrambled and then really thin, like kind of like a tortilla. And then you put the minced meat in the middle and then you wrap it. And then you kind of like seal it. You sear it to seal it. And then you boil it. And then you can eat it in a soup with mushrooms and stuff. So I really like that dish. And I've been pestering my mom to teach me how to make it. So on day 14, I finally made it. And then we also went to Trader Joe's and got a brioche bun. Trader Joe's brioche bun. Was it brioche bun or brioche bread? It's like my favorite bread ever. So we got one because I didn't want to overdo it. I have this philosophy of like, I feel like one thing that I accomplished, achieved, or developed was that before I would always want to get the bang for my bucks. So like it's like the Wendy's 4 for 4 deal. Am I hungry enough to eat all 4 items? No, but it's a good deal. So it's like at the end of that meal, it was so much, I end up feeling nauseous. And then I started learning to just eat smaller portions or small enough portions that I could appreciate 100% of. So like if I eat a big meal, maybe like halfway through I get full and I stop really appreciating it. And then for the rest of the way, I'm just trying to shove it down my throat to finish the food so that I'm not wasting it. So I don't want to buy any, I don't want to over purchase if it's not going to, if it's going to exceed my happiness level. Does that make sense? I always had a hard time explaining this because I was trying to explain this to Roseus, and then he was like, I get it, but like, I'm not sure if I get it. So just like eat smaller portions so you can appreciate more of what you are eating, basically. So I got a brioche bread and I bought a Trader Joe bag. I bought a Trader Joe breakfast bag. I don't know why, but I saw it and I'm like, I wanted a piece of Trader Joe's back with me. So I convinced myself that, you know what, you're gonna use this to buy grocery shop. And in reality, I don't really go to grocery store to buy groceries. I just order it online and they ship it in front of my door. So I'm gonna have to find another purpose for that bag because I don't want to just to lay around and do nothing. And then we also watched Arcane episode 3 together that day as well. Fast forward, day 15, Saturday, we watched the World Cup. It was England versus France, and I have an England jersey in my closet. So I was wearing England jersey that day, hoping that they win, but they didn't. And then I dropped off Roseus at driving school, and then also at work. And then we went to do like a little bit of shopping later at La Cantera. Then once we got home, we did a short podcast of asking each other's MBTI. And it turns out, MBTI and love language test. It was so funny. And it turns out I am INFJT. And my love language is acts of service, which I find, I guess it makes sense. Then we slept early. Ooh, we slept early that day because on Sunday, we were going to go to H-Town. We were going to go to Houston because another thing on my bucket list was dim sum. I wanted dank dim sum. And I asked my Houston friends, like, where do you get your dank dim sum? And they're like, golden dim sum. So I found out that they open at 9. And in my mind, on the weekends, dim sum are going to be very popular because everyone want to go. So I wanted to be there when they open. Again, from where I was, Houston was 3 hours away. So if they open at 9, again, that means we leave at 6. So I told everyone, hey, set an alarm. We're going to leave at 6. And we all got up at 6, got a coffee, Starbucks. And then I drove to Houston and arrived at 9 a.m. We were like one of the first customers there. And then we had dim sum. And then we went to Chinatown to get some. Did I? Wait a minute. Did I not bring it? I was supposed to get a... Oh, shoot. I'm looking at my planner, and I suppose I'm supposed to have... Did I really forgot about it? Ooh. Supposedly there's this like serum that I have been taking when I was a kid. It really helps with like your throat, and if you have any like respiratory discomfort, then it's like very soothing. It's very viscous, and we bought it. Didn't I really not get it? I really thought I did. Didn't I? Now I really have to check my luggage again after I record this. But we bought that from H-Town, and then we also got Pokemon cards. So Roseus wanted to go to these like anime stores, and we went, and there was like a Pokemon card dispenser. So we went to like a boba shop next to the anime store so that we can get some coins, and then we went back, and then I got like it was shiny, so I'm guessing it's supposed to be important. It was like a Pikachu surfing. So that's the card that I got. And then we got some snacks, and then we drove back. And I was the person driving the whole road trip. So like I've driven 6 hours that day alone. And I thought that was an accomplishment because the first time I did that, I did a solo drive to Houston was to get my visa. And I was really scared because I've never had long distance road trip alone. Like when I was driving from Chicago to Texas with Taro, at least Taro was with me, right? But I was alone and I was afraid that I was going to fall asleep. But I survived. I felt really tired, but I survived. Then day 17 on a Monday, I started packing up my check bag with all the snacks. And I started wrapping presents that I got from my family. And then I guess I was cleaning my SD card. I moved some videos. Oh my gosh. And on Monday, I also got a present for Coda, my friend's son. So on Tuesday, I was going to meet a friend. She's actually my first friend that I made when I immigrated to America. And we've been through a lot together. So we didn't lose contact, but we weren't, I guess, communicating as often in college because we went to different colleges. But I took Taro as my date to her wedding because I wanted to introduce Taro to my close friends because I was you know, I'm not trying to be cheesy, but I just wanted to make sure that all my close friends knew about him. So yeah, she has a son, and then she told me she was going to bring her son. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is my first. This is the first time meeting Coda. Let me I want to get him something, but because I've never met Coda and I haven't spoken to him in a long time, I wasn't sure what he liked. So I went back to her Instagram, and then I looked at every single picture with Coda, trying to like think about what kind of things that he liked. Like, so I saw that I noticed that he wore a lot of Spider-Man stuff. He had like a Spider-Man umbrella, Spider-Man shirt, Spider-Man backpack. So I was like, maybe he likes Spider-Man. So I went to Target and I was looking at all the Spider-Man things. And I'm like, okay, I want something that is useful, not just like a doll or a plush or something. So I found this like VTech learning watch. It was so cute. Like you can play games with it. So I was like, he's 3. Would this be too boring for him or would this be too hard for him? But I was like, at the time, I was like, I guess I just have to gamble with it. So I bought it. And then the next day, day 18 on a Tuesday, I went to meet her at Kirby Lane. And then I gave her the gift. Unfortunately, Cody wasn't with her, he was with grandparents. So we just ended up talking. And then that was actually the day I lost my Apple Card. So I went home. And then on Wednesday, I noticed that I lost my Apple Card. And I was panicking. I was like, oh my gosh, I lost my Apple Card, but I'm about to leave. So I don't know if the cards will get to me on time. So I canceled my card immediately. And then that day, I was supposed to go shopping with my mom to buy something else. I forgot. We're supposed to buy perfume or cologne for our dad. So we were on a search to find it because apparently it has been discontinued. So we were trying to see, what are some stores that would carry it. So we drove to La Cantera again. And it was a very emotionally charged drive because that in the car when we parked, I had this serious talk with my mom about my sibling, as well as, some of my issues with her and how I felt in the past few years. So I was crying for my sibling, and then because I was just trying to explain everything that Roseas was going through, and then that somehow linked to some of the things that I was dealing with, and they were all things that I wanted to tell my mom, but I didn't feel brave enough to talk to her about. So before the trip, I told you I was worried. Like I wanted to tell her, I wanted to establish my boundaries again, XYZ, but in the end, it not that it wasn't necessary, but I felt like we sort out a lot of our misunderstanding while I was advocating for my sibling. Like I was crying and I told her how, Rose is really a good kid, and, we are pushing her academically, but I also want to make sure that, you two are bonding with each other as well, especially since I'm not here anymore. You two need to have each other's back, and these are all the things that Roseas was going through, and then, puberty is a very hard period to go through, and then high school as well. So, be more understanding, and then, make an effort to connect with each other, make an effort to do these activities together. And of course, I will talk to Roseas about, what you are feeling, what you are going through too, things that you're not telling Roseas because you feel like, oh, this is something that I should, carry alone. And I was just really trying to bridge them. Like the whole trip, I felt like it felt it felt a little bit heavy because constantly I was being a therapist in a sense, just between my sibling and my parents. And I guess that's why I got so emotional and was, I guess you could say, overreacting in the sense too. So I was telling her all that stuff, and then also it went back to like me, and then I was like, I when I was abroad, there were like I wish you care for the emotional sides of things too, Like when I was abroad, I wanted to share my life with you. I wanted to share like my accomplishments, but I was always afraid to come face to face with conversations that were more so superficial than anything else. Like, oh, how much money are you earning? How much are you paying for your apartment? This is temporary, blah, blah, blah. Like it shut me out from actually wanting to share how I feel with you. And then, she heard my side of the story, and then she was telling me about, like I assumed that you were adults. So we all have our own issues that we're dealing with. And then, we often just deal with it on our own and not lay the burden on someone else. But, thank you for telling me this. That's not what I only care for. I'm sorry that came off that way. So I guess it cleared some things, and of course it's not 100% resolved, but I just felt more connected to her, I guess, less misunderstanding. And now she's more tuned to my siblings' life, and then more, I guess, looking for ways that she could be supportive. So yeah, that day 20 was a turning point for my trip, for sure. And I guess I also felt the pressure of my trip is coming to an end. I have to talk about this issue. So it's like opening a dam and the water was just all at once. And it's like my brain was running faster than my mouth. So I guess I also felt flustered too. And I was like, am I really expressing the emotions that I wanted to express? Am I getting the points across? XYZ. Yeah. Then came day 21. It was a Thursday. And, this was my Austin day with another friend from college. And she had actually graciously asked for a day off. So she was just running through Austin with me. We started with we went back to her place, walked her dog, and then we went to get coffee, and then we chatted there. Then we walked around South Congress in Austin. I've never been to South Congress. And then we went to did we get ramen after? No, sorry. We went to the cafe. We got matcha latte, and then we went to get ramen. And then we went back to her place to get her dog, and then we brought her dog Ari with us to go to South Congress, and then we went to Lilabo. I never figured out how to pronounce the name of the perfume, but that perfume shop was one of the places that I wanted to visit, and I instantly fell in love with one of the perfume they had. It was Matcha 26, and I impulsively purchased it, but I do not regret my purchase. It smells magical. That's all I could say. So it's like my favorite scent ever to this day. So I went to that Lilabo. We went to the perfumery, and then we went to Kinokuniya, and we got friendship pins. Then we walked around campus. We went back to our old college. We went to the equivalent of a gift shop, I guess. I got some things that I wanted. And then we had dinner at Ho Ho, or Ding Ho, because I really wanted chashu and suyok. And we had that. Then we went to karaoke, and then we went. Oh, after karaoke, we got some dessert, and I actually got to meet her family, and then we chatted a little bit, and then we went back to her place, and I drove back home. But it was like, I don't know. Austin will always be my favorite city. I think because of the importance that it had on my life. It was my first city that I connected with, where I went to college, where I met Taro. Just so many significant turning points in my life. So Austin will always be my favorite. And Alice, thank you for taking me, for running around with me for 10 hours. Yeah, we spent 10 hours together that day. It was wild. I left at 8 a.m. and I came home at 11:30. So it was very like fulfilling. It was very fulfilling and special. Then the next day was Friday. What did I do? Oh, I ordered my mom's present and finally it arrived. I was getting a little worried because it was December 16th. Folded my laundry, tidied up my checked and carried on luggage. And it was weird. When I came back from Austin, I think because of the cold front and how we were out all day and we were kind of tired, I had this extreme headache and I felt really, really tired. So fatigue. And it didn't go away. And I just laid in my bed and had some fries downstairs when my dad was ordering for dinner. So I just went downstairs, stole some fries for him, took my, what is it? Chocolate slush? Chocolate smoothie? Chocolate, what's the other word I'm looking for? Slush, smoothie, chocolate smoothie? Chocolate, oh Jesus. Chocolate. I should not be hung up on this. I had my drink and then I went back to my room and I just drank water and tried to sleep it off. Luckily, day 23, Saturday, it went away. Thank goodness. It went away and my dad gave me this like Best Buy certificate. So he's like, oh, Jules, I have a $15 certificate for Best Buy. Do you need to buy anything? And I was like, maybe. And I found Google TV. So funny thing, I didn't even know my best friend had Google TV until I got Google TV and I was looking at the remote. I was like, oh, she has a Google TV. I didn't know that. So I went to Best Buy to get Google TV and we had an early Christmas dinner because why? Because my dad was leaving to go back to work. So I took Polaroids with my family. We had what is this? Tomahawk steak, corn, sweet potatoes, homemade gravy, mashed potatoes. And then we opened our present that day. And I was the MC. Like my mom had this, what is this sound? Oh, someone's using their vacuum cleaner this late at night. So my mom has this Bluetooth microphone and it has a little speaker. So if I speak into it, it's kind of like a megaphone. So I was the MC that night. And then I guess I hosted the annual present opening ceremony, whatever the heck. So everyone opened their presents. And then I built Rosea's chair together. And then I also built my mom's phone stand. So she likes to like lay down on her bed. And then before she goes to bed, she kind of, she unwinds by, looking at her phone, like TikTok or whatever. And then, it gets, your arm gets really sore holding up a phone, even though it was just a phone. So I found this like stand thing that she can have next to her bed. And then she can just clamp her phone to it so she doesn't have to hold it all the time. But I had to assemble that for her. And then what else did I do? I demanded that when I'm home, they had to spend time with me in the common space, aka in the living room. So we played games together. I forced them to play with me. So Rosé and my mom would play Mahjong, we'd play Uno, we played checkers, we played Chinese checker, we played Animal Crossing and Mario Kart. Yeah. And then on Sunday, day 24, our family went to the Riverwalk in San Antonio. And then we recreated some old pictures that we've taken at that place years ago when I was still in college. And then that was when we watched the World Cup final. I woke up at 9 to watch it. And of course, I was rooting for Argentina. And oh my gosh, I watched the whole game. It was so, I was filming it. I even got it on film. But after we watched the game, I was like, okay, finally we can go to the Riverwalk. So we went to the Riverwalk and we were searching for Auntie Anne's pretzels. And they didn't have it at the mall that we were in. So we drove to the other side of the town to another mall to get us the pretzels. Because, I don't know, it's just not like it's almost like the mall experience. If you go to the mall, you have to get Auntie Anne's pretzels. It's a must. Then on day 25, Monday, oh my gosh, my trip is coming to an end. On a Monday, we had other plans. And then a lot of my original plans were canceled. Not canceled. Yeah, rescheduled mostly. And what I ended up doing, I packed my checked luggage. And then I always wanted to read on the balcony that we had, but it was kind of like abandoned. No one really uses it. So I was like, all right, today's the day. We're going to clean the balcony. We're going to go there and I'm going to read. So we read on the balcony and then I made guacamole. And then I made like a Notion template. These days I've been using Notion pretty religiously. Every single day I'll wake up. I'll start with a journal entry, write out my intentions, the happenings, what I'm grateful for, and then I'll update it as the day goes on. What else did I make? Oh, I made a story vault template. I made a habit tracker that I use, and then the daily journal thing. Then I also had movie night with my family. So we watched Wakanda Forever. I actually saw it before I left Korea. So I watched it again with them. And then next day, on a Tuesday, that's when my dad left to go to work. And then my replacement Apple Card arrived. You know, the funny thing is, I thought I lost it. And because the day that I lost it was already so emotional, I had so many things going on in my head. I had to talk with my mom, and I eventually realized that it was just in my back pocket at home, in my bathroom. So I was talking to the Apple agent. I was like, hey, I found my card. You don't have to send me the replacement card anymore. They're like, nope, can do. It's already on its way. So I was like, okay, all right, I guess I'll just have 2 cards then. Tuesday, I had another movie night. Oh my gosh, my mom was so obsessed. Once I figured out how to connect my computer, once my dad showed me how to connect my computer to the projector in his man cave, my mom was like, let's watch movie. So the day before we watched Wakanda Forever, then on Tuesday that day we watched Avatar 2. Watched Avatar 2 and then went to get oil change for my car at CarMax at 10 a.m. So I read on Kindle for about an hour. We ate rice noodles. And oh my gosh, that was the day I stepped on a staple in the kitchen. It was so painful. It was such bad timing too, and I'll tell you why. So we have a kitchen island. And in the bottom of the kitchen island, there were some loose pieces. So I guess whoever fixed the loose pieces, they didn't use glue. They used staples. And when you staple something, the legs are usually pointed inward, right? I don't know why, but the staples were pointed outwards. So it was protruding outside of the kitchen island. And I was on a stool. On my computer. I was probably writing the journal or whatever. I was doing something on my computer. And then I lost balance. So naturally, I stepped on the ground to balance myself. But I actually stepped on the side of the kitchen island directly into the staples. But I didn't know the staples existed. So I just felt this sharp pain. And I thought, oh, it was probably just the edges of the kitchen island. I didn't think much of it until like a minute or two later. And it was excruciating pain. And I look at it and I see that it was bleeding. Like my thumb, my big toe was bleeding. I was like, why is it bleeding? And I look at it closer. I was like, oh my gosh, there are staples protruding from the kitchen island. And I told my mom, I was like, did you know about this? And then I was like, I think I stepped on some staples. She's like, you step on a what? And she was like, oh my gosh, we have to hammer it back in. So we hammered it back in, and then I just wrapped toilet paper around it. And then my mom was like, what? You're not gonna clean it? I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's not bleeding anymore. Like, I don't want to clean it. Because if I clean it, I would need to use alcohol. Then it's gonna burn and I'm gonna cry. So I didn't want to do it. I was really avoiding it at all cost. But she's like, no. It's nails. What if you get, like, you need like a tetanus shot or something like that? I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. Like, I'll be all right. It's gonna pass soon. But she didn't listen to me. And she went back to her room with like, I don't even remember what kind of spray it was. I think it was supposed to be some sanitizing spray. Apparently, because she cooks a lot, and there are multiple instances where she hurt her finger. So she had to take care of herself, and then those were some of the solutions that she bought. So she sprayed on my big toe, and then she cleaned it, and then she used some Chinese medicine. I don't know what is it in English, but it's like 100. The direct translation is 100? 万花油. One is what? 10,000 flower oil. So she put the oil on a Band-Aid, and then she put the Band-Aid on my wound. But while she was sanitizing my big toe, my wound, my cut, it was pretty deep. It still hasn't completely healed yet. Sorry, that's my tummy. When she was sanitizing my toe, I was trying to distract myself by singing. So I was like, no. She was like, are you kidding me? Like, is it hurting? I was like, no, but I'm singing just in case if it hurts. So she took care of my big toe for like 2 days. And it was bad timing because the day after that, Wednesday, day 27th, I had a tennis appointment with a friend of hers who plays tennis. So he had secured a tennis court for us. So there's no way I'm gonna back out. And tennis, if you tell me there's a chance to play tennis, I would never say no. So I was like, please don't tell him that my big toe is injured. I'm not gonna show it when we're playing tomorrow. So we spent like an hour and a half playing tennis. I was so happy. Whenever I'm playing tennis or watching tennis, I am 100%. It's just 100% dopamine, 100% serotonin. Serotonin. What does that sound like? It's like 100% serotonin in my brain. It's bouncing around, ricocheting everywhere. So I had a really good time. And then towards the end, I started limping. He's like, what's going on? And then my mom was about to tell him. I was like, don't say it. But eventually she told him that I injured myself the day before. That's why I'm limping a little bit. But towards the end, we're wrapping up, and he had to go somewhere else too. So we went to have pho for lunch, and then we went to Asian market to get some soy sauce and pineapple buns and boba and extra ingredients for hot pot, because I think we wanted to do hot pot one more time. So that was Wednesday. Then day 28. Oh my gosh, it's coming to an end. Oh, it's the last day. Is it the last day? Yeah, it's the last day. Thursday is my last day. And to go back to Korea, you have to do something called Q code. So I did my Q code check-in. I printed all my visa documents because I'm supposed to file an e-application as soon as possible when I arrive. And then my manager was actually urging me to actually go visit the immigration office and do like a walk-in appointment. So I had to make sure that I printed out all my documents because I don't have a printer in my Korean apartment. And then I checked my luggage for a final weight. And then I read on the balcony for the very last time. It was so cold. And then we watched a movie again, Kung Fu Panda 3, which I slept through the entire thing. And then I filmed some final shots that I wanted from my room, from my house. And then I did my last laundry. And then we had the last family hot pot. And then I packed. And I stayed up because my flight was at 7 a.m. on Friday. And that means I wanted to be there at around like 4:30 just to be safe, right? Because I don't remember how packed it would be in the US airport to go through immigration, because that's always the part that takes the longest. So I stayed up and I was packing and I was writing letter. And we went to the airport. It was so cold that day. It was so cold. And Rosea's only wore like a t-shirt and a zip up. And I'm like, are you cray-cray? It's so cold. And when we got to the check-in place, is that what I took out? Did I take that out? I got to the check-in place and had to take out some stuff because it was overweight. And then I hugged my family goodbye. And then I boarded the plane. And I was so sleepy, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I kept falling asleep. But I finally boarded the plane and flew all the way to San Francisco. And then from San Francisco, I left to go to Incheon Airport. It was just like the same flight, the exact same flight. And I came back on Saturday, the 24th, Christmas Eve. What did I do that day? I don't quite remember. But I tried to file my visa application and I realized it was closed on weekends. So I had to wait to do everything on Monday. And Monday was so hectic for me. Because I started classes, I also started camp. So there were just so many things that I had to take care of. And then my jet lag was actually kind of wonky this time around. So I was having a hard time. And I was just like on edge the entire day. Because I had to file. The application opens at 7. And I must leave my place at 8 to go to the school for intensive class. So I only had that short period of time to upload everything. And then I got to the school. I taught classes from 10 to 1. I got some food. And then I had to prep for my afternoon classes. And it was just like a whole day of teaching from like 10 to 10 p.m. And I got home at 11:30. And I was so, like my clock was so out of rhythm. On Tuesday, I actually ended up knocking out. So I woke up at 10 a.m. to take a shower. And then I went back to prep for class. But after 10 a.m., I went back to prep my class. I knocked out. And I didn't wake up until 4:30 in the afternoon when I was supposed to have class. I'm supposed to have class from 4 to 7 and 7 to 10. But I completely knocked out. And the staff was actually calling me, asking me where I was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm still at home. I got knocked out because of jet lag. So I was taking a taxi hoping that it would be faster. But at that time, it was rush hour. So it took me like an hour-ish to get there anyways. And I got there. They actually redistributed my class to other teachers who were teaching the same level, and they had to call someone in to come sub for me. And then I took care of my own 7 to 10 p.m. class, but I was just messaging everyone, just apologizing. I'm so sorry that you had to cover for me. Can I like get you coffee or buy you lunch or something like that? But after that, I was so terrified of doing the same thing, like missing my alarm again. I bought like an analog clock, the one that goes ding, 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 ding. I bought that and I fixed my sleep schedule. So now the latest I go to sleep is 1, which, oh my gosh, it's already 1. 20 in the morning. And then I would wake up, like my body would automatically wake up at 6. Usually at 5:30, but definitely at 6. Because I'm trying to will myself to wake up before the alarm actually goes off. Because when the alarm goes off, it's like super scary. And I'm like really scared. And I would be panicking if I heard that straight out of my REM sleep. So at least my sleep schedule is fixed, and that brings me to like now, which 3 weeks later. And there are still some things that happened in between, but this podcast is already super lengthy, so I will just leave that to next time. And I will share my New Year goals and things that have happened between January and the end of September. September? Whoa. End of December. Yeah. So here. Come to the podcast. Just come say hi. Just come say hi. Just come say hi. Okay? I'm gonna be done soon and I'll come to bed with you, okay? So yeah, thank you for tuning in to this week's podcast. It's a super lengthy one, I know. But that's everything that I did on my homecoming trip back to Texas. And I miss Uni so much, but she forgot about me. She was so nervous to see me. She was hiding for like an hour and she was shivering when I touched her. You really forgot about me. You really did. How do you explain yourself? That was one syllable. How do you explain yourself? Oh my god, this is so cute. Can you like say something else? So what did you have for lunch today? Uniski. Biscotto. Please. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. If you say goodbye, I'll let you go. How's that? 1, 2, 3. Alright, you've done it. Thank you for joining us, Uni and I, together. And thank you for tagging along to the new journey that 2023 has in store for us, whatever that may be. And stay safe. I know it's getting cold, and recently a lot of our coworkers are getting food poisoning. So be careful when you eat seafood or whatever you consume. And I hope this year will be good for you as well. And I can't wait to share more of my life with you along the way. And yeah, it's late. We should go to bed. So take care. Good night. I miss you. And I'm sorry, but I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh my gosh. Bye.